Huskies reporting the Lakers are the only NBA team planning a pursuit of a sign and trade for the Nets guard. Brooklyn's not believed to have any interest in any available LA packages. The Nets are holding firm to one thing when it comes to Kyrie, explains ESPN's Nick Friedel.
They want to know that Kyrie is going to be out there. And after the last few seasons, there were plenty of people in the organization that are thinking, I just don't know if I want to deal with all of this again. And if that runs the risk of potentially losing Kevin Durant, then it may happen. And that's what we're going to find out now moving forward here in the next few days.
Durant has not yet made any potential trade requests, according to Woj. The Texans, formally named as defendants today in the ongoing civil case involving their former quarterback Deshaun Watson. The suit claims the Texans knew of Watson's alleged sexual misconduct during massages. His disciplinary hearing with the NFL scheduled to begin tomorrow. Watson has maintained his innocence.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Kyrie, as far as the talent goes, there's no question that he would make the Lakers competitive. They would be contenders.
The guys will be back Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. Muso's out all week. And Mr. Toby Topley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Good to be back in the big chair after a couple days in New York City. I am Yankee Kryptonite. I was there for 4 days. There were 4 Yankees-Astro games. 2 of them involved a walk-off by the Yankees, neither of which I saw. One involved the Yankees being no-hit, which I did not see. It was at Broadway. And the game I did go to was a 3-1 Yankees loss, where their only real threat was a solo homer by Mike Stanton. Excuse me, Giancarlo Stanton, but I still call him Mike. Yeah, I'd come home and they went a walk-off, but I had a great time in New York. Thanks to everybody who filled in, Chessa and Leah on Thursday and Troy LaBeouf on Friday. I appreciate that. Muso's out all week, so Alondra, you're here all week for Muso or just part of the week?
Nope, I'll be here all week for him while he's on his 420 cruise.
So good. I didn't even put her up to it. She's so good. Thank you for being here and putting up with me all week.
Of course. I'm excited to be here.
Said nobody ever, but thank you very much for pretending. So you probably know that Ole Miss won the national championship on Sunday in college baseball. And there's a lot of LSU fans that are congratulating Mike Bianco, which I guess I do understand. He played at LSU, won championships under Skip Ertman as an assistant coach, and is a genuinely good human being. You like to see good things happen to good people. It's unfortunate that he's wearing an Ole Miss uniform and they won their first national championship, which I'm not okay with. Just like a year ago, I was not okay with Mississippi State winning a national championship. As an LSU fan, you should be very, very displeased by that outcome. But if there's a silver lining, if there is a silver lining by the fact that it's been 13 years since LSU won a national championship in baseball, it's been 5 years since LSU's been to Omaha, and in that time, you've seen Florida, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss all win national championships, and quite honestly, Arkansas should have as well. They dropped a pop-up. Otherwise, they would have won a national championship as well. If there's one silver lining to all of that, it has awoken the ardent LSU financial supporters. The longest standing and most ardent LSU baseball boosters have looked around and seen other schools, not just in the country, not just in the league, but in the SEC West, schools that are, if you'll forgive this, little brother to LSU with respect to resources and tradition, winning national championships, while LSU does not. And it has awoken, and dare I say maybe angered, annoyed maybe, some of the most ardent LSU boosters, and they are now putting their money where their emotions are. And that's a very good thing for LSU. We left on Thursday for New York, and I got a call just before we're leaving for the airport from someone who is deeply connected to LSU and SEC baseball. And this person said to me, the next 72 hours for LSU are, if everything falls in line, potentially transformative for the next half decade. And this person proceeded to tell me that Christian Little from Vanderbilt had already silently committed, and that was about to go public. That Tommy White from NC State was visiting LSU on Thursday at 1 p.m., and that Jay Johnson was narrowing in on his pitching coach was going to be a major splash. And as we now know, Tommy White did, in fact, commit to LSU, and LSU has their pitching coach, and that pitching coach is Wes Johnson from the Minnesota Twins. This is – so if you don't know, right now you probably do, but I'll give you a little bit of the backstory. But the hype and attention around this Wes Johnson hire is very, very warranted. For example, if you look around Major League Baseball, you're getting a reaction from Major League Baseball on this college baseball hire. Jeff Passan quote tweeted Kendall Rogers' report about hiring Wes Johnson. Jeff Passan, who covers Major League Baseball on a national level, tweeted, "This is a first, a big league pitching coach leaving a first-place team for a college job in the middle of the MLB season." You don't need me to say it. Let Jeff Passan say it. One of the most prolific Major League Baseball writers today, or reporters today. I mean, you have a major league a major league pitching coach leaving a first-place team in the middle of the season. This would be akin to an NFL offensive coordinator in week 14 leaving his team when they're in first place in their division to go take a college OC job. It's unprecedented. It doesn't happen. Similarly, it's a very rare occurrence to see a college pitching coach go straight to a major league bench. That happened with Wes Johnson in 2019. He was on Arkansas staff, and the Twins hired him. You see guys leave college baseball, maybe go into the minors, a farm system, be a bench coach somewhere. It is rare to see a college coach go straight from college to a major league bench. So there's a few things that people ask. Why would he leave the Twins? There are three reasons primarily. Number one, schedule. When you are on a major league schedule, the grind is different. 162 games, 81 of them on the road. You live out of a suitcase 100 nights a year. That's a grind for a lot of people. That's number one. Number two, and this one's pretty obvious, and that's money. It may surprise you to know that major league pitching coaches make, on average, $250,000 to $500,000 a year, somewhere in that range, and that's the range I'm told Wes Johnson was in. Maybe the middle part of that range. I don't know that. The Twins do not have to disclose his salary, but that's what I was told, is that he's somewhere in the mid-range of that. He most certainly is getting a raise coming to LSU. We will know the terms of his contract when it's approved by the Board of Supervisors and made public, but we don't know it now. And I've seen a big wide range. I've seen a range from $400K, which Jason Kelly was making, to $1 million a year. Now, I want to be very clear. I do not believe that LSU is paying Wes Johnson $1 million a year, okay? But you've seen crazy internet rumors. But I do believe he's obviously getting a significant raise. And then number three is opportunity. People around the college baseball world sort of understand that Wes Johnson's career ambition is to be a college head coach. You look at LSU, where the two full-time assistants on Jay Johnson's staff just this year, Dan Fitzgerald, Jason Kelly, each after 1 year in Baton Rouge, got head coaching, Power 5 head coaching jobs. It makes a lot of sense, if you're Wes Johnson, You get a better schedule that suits your life. You're going to make more money and give you an opportunity to reach what is your career end goal quicker. For all those reasons, it makes a lot of sense. As far as what he brings, listen, when he was at Dallas Baptist, they became known for hard-throwing pitchers. I mean, he got stud guys and developed them at Dallas Baptist. He was also at Central Arkansas, spent one season at Mississippi State where they went from worst to first in the SEC. And then, of course, during his time with Dave Van Horn at Arkansas, they became one of the preeminent powers in college baseball, and again fell a game short of a national championship in 2018 when they lost to in the 2018 finals when they dropped the pop-up in foul territory. So this is it's a massive development for LSU baseball, a program which is as tradition-rich as any in the country, that has as many resources as any in the country, that is now very clearly no longer resting on laurels and history and past and all of that stuff, and now very much back re-engaged and committed to being the best in the country again. That's not to be dismissive or say that LSU wasn't in at different points, but very clearly you have a situation where LSU collectively and its boosters were tired of seeing Mississippi State and Ole Miss win. And this is what it took, apparently, to get LSU, back re-engaged. I would imagine you're going to see facilities upgrades, which we've talked about a lot. You're clearly seeing Jay Johnson go all in on his staff, which he has the support now of administrators and boosters to do. And yes, you better believe that NIL money is a part of recruiting as well. When you go get Tommy White and you get Christian Little, and by the way, they are not done with the transfer portal as well. I'm telling you, they're still eyeballing arms that are in the Cape currently, guys that are in the transfer portal. Josh Day, a name I've told you about from Missouri, an infielder who hit .340 this past season. He went into the transfer portal today. Carter Young from Vanderbilt, their shortstop, is in the transfer portal. I'm telling you, they're not done. They're going to add another infielder and arms. So Jay Johnson's not messing around. And that 72-hour period, Thursday to Sunday, was massive. It's the potential range where we'll look back in 12 months from now and go, that was the 72-hour period that put the wheels in motion for LSU to do what they did. And they're not done. So, all right, Wes Johnson is LSU's new pitching coach. Tigers still have work to do in the portal. They're not done there, and they still got to add a recruiting coordinator, but it's pretty clear Jay Johnson's getting a lot of this work done himself right now. All right, it's after further review. Phil Miller covers the Minnesota Twins for the Star Tribune. He's going to be with us in 1 hour from right now. When I ask him about Wes Johnson, what he's done with the Twins, why he's leaving the Twins, all that sort of stuff. We'll get that perspective of it. And one of the arms LSU already has committed this offseason is Dylan Tebrake from Creighton. He's going to join us in hour 3 today, so we're looking forward to that. It's going to be at the bottom of hour 3, so make sure you're here for that. All right, glad to have you aboard with us. It is a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Tell you every single day, buy local, shop local. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Sieg near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Remember, at Clegg's, you get an amazing selection in full greenhouses. Like, it's hot outside. I get it. And so a lot of people, when it's hot outside, don't want to spend time outside. But if you find that shaded area or you have the pool and you want to beautify your outdoor spaces, my goodness, Clegg's is the spot to go. Full greenhouses of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs, and you can find it all there. And if you're not sure what to plant, just ask somebody. They got a great, helpful staff at Clegg's that can help you with whatever questions you have. One thing that we see a lot this time of year, brown spots in the lawn. If that's been a problem for you at your house, no worries. Go to Clegg's. They have the products and all the knowledge to get your yard, your lawn, that flower bed all looking fantastic this summer. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're going to go around the SEC bottom of this hour. Next hour, we'll talk about Demario Davis, who over the weekend signed an extension with the Saints, what that means for him, his future, the Saints. That's all coming up here in about 45 minutes from right now. A big weekend for LSU football as Brian Kelly and his staff really starting to churn with this 2023 recruiting class, and they landed a commitment from speedy wide receiver Kyle Parker out of Texas. He's a 3-star, and look, candidly, if you're an LSU fan and you're looking at commitments, the first thing that we all inherently do, because most of us are not deeply rooted in recruiting culture. Like most of us aren't sitting there watching Kyle Parker film, and we don't know, you probably never even heard that kid's name before he committed. Like, you know, the upper crust, if you know an Arch Manning, a Dante Moore, something like that. Kyle Parker, probably not a name you know, which is fine. So if you're like me, the first thing you do is go, all right, let's go look at the measurables and his star ranking. Well, he's a 3-star, and he's 5'10", 175. So you look at that, and you probably think, oh, man, it's a little bit of a reach. Why would they go for that? And there's one very obvious reason when you dig a little deeper. Kid ran a 10.89 in the 100-meter dash. I mean, that is world-class track speed at 18 years old. So it's interesting to me because of how LSU's receiver recruitment has evolved over the years. When Les Miles, early in his time at LSU, was going after just speedy, talented, athletic guys. It kind of evolved into Reuben Randall, Jarvis, Odell. But in 2012, remember this clearly, 2012, Texas A&M came in the league, and they had Mike Evans, and they had these big 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" receivers that were big-bodied dudes that were just hard to deal with. And if you remember, LSU went through this little period where Les was just recruiting big dudes. It was D. Anderson, 6'6", Jazz Ferguson, 6'6", Stephon Sullivan, 6'5". You know what I'm talking about? Like that. It's like if you weren't 6'4", don't even apply. Like just leave your card at the door. We'll call you, sort of thing. And they just didn't experience great success with that approach. And you saw a shift again. If you had a big dude like Terrace Marshall, who was a 5-star, of course you're going to recruit him. 6'4", I mean, a huge guy, 6'3", 6'4". But you saw the best receivers, even a Russell Gage, right, who was 6 foot tall. But you saw Jamar Chase, who was 6 foot tall. Now Kayshon Boutte, 6 foot tall. They shifted from the big, strong, physical receiver to the more athletic dude that could jump. And so when I look at Kyle Parker and I see 5'10", 175, I don't necessarily think the lack of size is a detriment. I think, okay, where's the benefit in his game? I think, okay, to bring it local, Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, when he was at Oregon State, won the Biletnikoff as the best receiver in college football. What's the thing that Brandon Cooks has been able to do his entire professional career that's allowed him to stand out and be a game breaker? His speed, his ability to get open down the field. Deshaun Jackson, 5'10". Tyreek Hill, 5'10". What do they all have in common? Aside from being smaller receivers, they have game-breaking speed. So that's very likely what you're getting here. The other thing, and I'm going to be interested because I just don't know the answer to this. None of us really know the answer to this question. It's why when you have a new coaching staff, it's always interesting to watch it evolve and see how it plays out. We don't really know what Brian Kelly and vis-a-vis Mike Denbrock are going to want. I can point out receivers from Brian Kelly's time at Notre Dame that don't look anything like Kyle Parker. But we also know that they've really made use of the tight end there over the years. They've had more shifty, athletic running backs that could catch the ball as receivers. So we're going to learn together this season and into the future what it is, what the mold is that Brian Kelly wants. I mean, it's like I remember when Les was recruiting running backs and then into the Orgeron era, Les wanted Jacob Hester, Jeremy Hill, Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis. Big, strong, physical, 220-pound running backs that had game-breaking speed but could also be physical between the tackles. That's why when LSU recruited Clyde, I said often, and I saw every game Clyde play, called all of Clyde's games in high school. I said Clyde Edwards-Helaire could be an amazing SEC back, just not at LSU. He wasn't the guy that was the dot-the-eye 230-pound running back that Geis and Fournette were. His skill set was different. Well, what happened? The offense evolved. And Clyde was so dynamic as a receiver that in the Burrow year, he took massive advantage of that. And then could also, when you'd spread things out, run between the tackles. So much of it's about fit in the system. So you can look for a skill set, but you also have to look at what the coach wants. And we just don't know what Brian Kelly is going to do here. And yes, we could very easily look at a sample size of a decade at Notre Dame and say, well, that's what he's going to do. But I think we also have to realize something we've all talked about since the day he was hired, which is Brian Kelly is going to be able to recruit a different caliber athlete here than he could at Notre Dame. He's going to be able to recruit Odell Beckham to LSU. You're never getting Odell Beckham to Notre Dame. There have been very good players at Notre Dame over the time that Brian Kelly was there, but mostly what we saw from his highest drafted players were offensive linemen and tight ends. That's where regionally he could get really big Midwestern offensive linemen, develop them, and then same with pass-catching tight ends. But the skill guys aren't what Notre Dame produced, largely. He's going to be able to get those guys here. So how does that evolve what he wants to do offensively? I think a guy like Kyle Parker, although just a 3-star, is a guy that it makes sense what he's trying to do here. He's trying to get the guy that can hit the home run. It's also interesting, and sometimes this is just a product of recruiting. Kyle Parker had very few offers. He ran a 10.89, and like instantly, Texas, Louisville, Penn State, Arkansas, Mississippi State all jumped into the fray along with LSU. So it's probably a situation where today he's a 3-star, but now that he's committed to LSU and with more offers likely to come, you're probably going to see that star ranking elevate into next year. It's the Tyrann Mathieu syndrome, where Tyrann was a small, undersized defensive back, wasn't highly recruited. He camped at LSU. They got him to commit. And once he was committed to LSU, throughout the course of his senior season, he went from a 2-star to a 4-star. So I'm not going to marry myself to the star ranking with Kyle Parker. I'm going to look at the one thing that he does at a world-class level, which is speed. Now, how will Brian Kelly and the staff use that world-class speed will be interesting. All right, it's after further review. The guy that could be throwing, well, won't be throwing him the football, but will be throwing football to LSU receivers this year is Myles Brennan. I want to talk about him in just a second because he was at the Manning Passing Academy this weekend. Let me take a quick moment to remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. If you know someone who's had LASIK, they've probably told you, best money I ever spent, best decision I ever made. I can certainly attest. Genetically, awful eyes. You've heard me tell the story before. God, my whole family. My poor sister had glasses when she was 5 years old. Brother, same thing. I started wearing glasses in the 6th grade, contacts in the 8th grade, wore them until about 3 years ago when I met Dr. Blake Williamson, had LASIK done over at the Williamson Eye Center. Best decision I could have made. We just traveled to New York, didn't have to worry about packing extra contact lens, contact solution, contact cases, glasses for when I take my contacts out. Didn't have to worry about any of it. Threw that entire drawer into the trash. You could do the same. Williamson Eye Center. Go for that consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. A Manning Passing Academy was this weekend. Myles Brennan was there, and interestingly enough, Myles Brennan and Max Johnson, former teammates, now SEC West opponents, roomed together at the Manning Passing Academy. And Myles Brennan, part of the Manning Passing Academy, of course, is that you have the college guys that are the counselors for the high school guys, and then there's also like a skills day where the counselors throw, and Keyshawn Butte was down there as well, running routes and looking really good doing so, which was fantastic to see. But all of the quarterbacks present also have media availability during the Manning Passing Academy. And so did Myles Brennan, the first time that we've really got to see Myles Brennan speak here in this offseason, post-spring certainly. And he's an interesting story. He's an interesting character in this college football season. That goes without saying. You're talking about a guy who, number one, he's an oddity because he's playing a 6th season, which doesn't happen much. And the fact that he's in his 6th season at the same school is also an oddity because guys just don't stick around. He's a unicorn. I mean, he's an outlier in the way that he's gone about his college career, the way that it's unfolded. And now this is kind of his last chance. And that's something that Myles Brennan reflected on at the Manning Passing Academy.
Coming out of high school, that you're going to LSU for 6 years, you're going to get hurt twice, you're not going to start until a COVID year. COVID's going to happen. I would have said, I'm hanging it up now, like I'm done. So just know that life is just ups and downs, and you just got to put your head down and keep going. And I think the ones who do that are the ones who succeed.
His maturity and his approach is a reason I think a lot of fans like Myles Brennan and cheer for Myles Brennan, quite honestly. There are examples to the contrary, but he's a guy that has stayed grounded, obviously is very mature, comes from a good family that has a sports background, but has just stayed the course, which is, I think, a bit of a throwback, which is something a lot of us sort of yearn for. But Brennan also talked about his resiliency, overcoming injuries and such.
Yeah, I mean, I would have never thought it would have been like this. I think that I know things happen for a reason. And if there was anybody that I'd want this to happen to, it would be myself. Because I know the adversity I faced throughout my life. And this is just part of it. And it's, for me personally, it's like, bring it on. Challenge me. So it's been good. I don't quit. I don't give up. And I'm excited for what's ahead.
So what's ahead now is his 6th and final college season. an opportunity to be the starting quarterback at LSU, but something that's not going to be given him because there's a guy that started 30 college games in the same quarterback room as he is. And so Myles Brennan, in being at LSU this year, isn't even guaranteed of being the quarterback at LSU this year. Still, he was asked about his goals for the 2022 season.
Right. I mean, obviously, step one, be the starter. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, that should be all of our goals, which I think it is. And then, obviously be a leader, stay in shape, get strong, be healthy, learn the offense, continue to build on the offense, grow, and go out and have fun. Every day that goes by is a day less I have in college. So I'm just enjoying it every day I can.
Everything he said after the first part of that answer, which is be the starter, is in many ways irrelevant. Because for Myles Brennan, it's the only way the season's going to be judged. Because the only reason he's still at LSU and the reason that he initially entered the portal was to have the opportunity to go be a starting quarterback to put 1 year of film out for NFL scouts before he tries to make a step to the next level. So if Myles Brennan does, in fact, stay at LSU for the entirety of this season and does not become the starting quarterback, there are examples of quarterbacks that have taken that path and still made it. We've talked about Matt Castle before. Matt Castle never played at Southern Cal. He was Matt Leiner's backup, never played, still got drafted, spent more than a decade on NFL rosters, made a ton of money. So there is precedent to be able to make an NFL career out of something out of having never played in college, but it's also very, very much an outlier. But then again, as we said, Brennan's entire career has been somewhat of a statistical outlier where he is right now. But he's also going to have to do it under a new staff. And keep in mind, this might be the thing that gives Brennan the advantage. When he showed up at LSU, he was recruited by Les Miles and Cam Cameron. Remember, that's where he committed. He showed up in 2017, and Ed Ogeron was his head coach, and Matt Canada was his OC. And then, very quickly, Steve Ensminger was his OC. And then we saw Joe Brady come in as passing game coordinator after Jerry Sullivan was removed from that position. And then Ensminger left, and then we saw what we saw in the 2020 COVID season, and now the injury last year with now a new head coach. You understand, like, the dude's been through a ton of turnover in his college career, and the transition to a new staff shouldn't be anything new at all to Myles Brennan.
It was a big transition, and I mean, the staff that just got let go, I was with for 4.5, 5 years. So it's like we completely went 180 degrees, like clean slate. But it's been good. I mean, they're all awesome people. They're smart, and I'm fired up.
So Brennan, who's dealt with that transition throughout his career, will have to do it again, see if he can win the job and make the most of it. I'm very curious for him this season. I think everybody's kind of pulling for Myles Brennan for many obvious reasons, some of which we said here. But I also, and I know many people don't agree with me on this. T-Bob and I actually got into a sort of a conversation about this on the last Scone and T. Even though Brennan's been around for 6 years, dude just hadn't played. He played in 3 games. He started 3 games in 2020. He started 3 games before he got injured and then missed all of last year. And the 3 games, it's a small sample size, but we forget Brennan wasn't good in those games. Like, you could look and say, well, he threw for 1,100 yards in 3 games. That's true. But he completed just over 50% of his passes. He was indecisive. It didn't look good. I mean, you look at the Missouri game where he threw for 400 yards, which he did, but he also attempted 50 passes in that game. 50 passes. Like, we saw that kid Costello from Mississippi State throw for 600 yards against LSU, and 2 weeks later was benched and never played again. Like, just because you compiled numbers with a giant amount of passing attempts doesn't mean you were good. So that for me is going to be the big question for Brennan. Size, yes. Arm strength, unquestioned. Moxie, leadership, maturity, check, all of it. But like, can he go perform at the highest level in key moments? And we just haven't seen him do it. So he's going to have to answer that question. Hopefully he gets his chance. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, go around the SEC, and in about 45 minutes from right now, we're going to We're going to head up to the Twin Cities. We're going to talk to Phil Miller, who covers the Minnesota Twins. We're going to find out about LSU's new pitching coach, Wes Johnson, from the Minnesota Twins side of things. Stick around, it's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all, everybody has seen it. Inflation is here. Everything costs more. I mean, you've seen the price of gas. Everybody is trying to find ways to save money, either to save money or to make more money. That's your two options. So if you don't have an option to make more money, then how do you save money? Well, Insurance Network of Louisiana could help. 293-0450. Call them. They're there right now. 293-0450. It's in the 225 area code. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. They will shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money, no matter who you currently have your insurance with. Maybe your cousin Debbie is an agent with Allstate. Awesome. I'm sure she's lovely and probably does a really good job, but she can only get you rates from her company. Insurance Network of Louisiana shops independently dozens of the top-rated companies in the world to get you better coverage for less money, and it is free for them to shop. No catch. Call today. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe up to LSU Daily. Daily podcast I do if you love LSU content. About 20 minutes every day, however you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify. A lot of it is repurposed content from AFR. I like to say it's like AFR condensed into about 20 minutes. So LSU Daily, iTunes, Spotify, part of Drop Biscuit Studios. If you haven't subscribed yet, check it out. We appreciate it very, very much. All right, we're going to go around the SEC in just a quick second. One of the big stories, obviously, today is Wes Johnson hired as LSU's new pitching coach. But, of course, LSU has also picked up a couple of very significant transfers. Christian Little, the pitcher from Vanderbilt, and Tommy White, a.k.a. Tommy Tanks from NC State. Jamie Perk texted. You can always text the show in the 225-396-4400. As I say, it's a text app that goes right to my phone, 225-396-4400. He said, Matt, question, with Tommy Tanks coming in and his main position being first base, where do you see him playing next year? DH maybe? So he was primarily the DH this year at NC State. If you're not familiar, kid at 27 homers, he was awesome. He was primarily the DH. He also played first and third at NC State this year. But similar to Jacob Berry, when you have a guy that is going to be that highly sought after, we had this conversation a lot with Berry last year, you're going to DH. A lot of you asked, why is he still in the field? He's a liability. And I told you over and over and over again, he is not going to DH. Jay Johnson's not DHing Jacob Berry because he couldn't, obviously, late in the season play in the field because of his broken finger. But as long as he was healthy and playing the field, that's what's going to make you more valuable as a draft prospect, not DHing. You've got to be able to show as many tools as possible. So it's going to be the same thing with Tommy White. I'm not saying there will never be an instance where they stick him in the lineup as a DH, but primarily he is going to be playing in the field, probably at first base. And I have fought with so many of you over this, and you're going to see it. Trey Morgan is not going to play first base at the next level. Watch any Major League Baseball game. Watch any game. There is no such thing as a super athletic first baseman. It doesn't happen. The game has become so offensive to where managers will stick a bat at first base. Sonny DeShera, hey, dude, you got a 50-inch waist and you weigh 260, but you slug homers? Doesn't matter. Stand on the base, slug homers, and catch the ball. That's all that matters. That's what, Trey Morgan is not going to be that guy. They're not going to put an athletic guy at first base. They're going to put him in the outfield. He'd have to be a left side of the infield guy or an outfielder, and because he's left-handed, he can't play on the left side of the infield, so he's got to play outfield. I'm not telling you there's no game where Trey Morgan will play first base. There probably will be some, but he's going to play in the outfield. And for Morgan, next year is his draft year. He's got to show to scouts he can do it. So stick Morgan in left, Pearson in right, Cruz in center, Tommy White plays first base. Now you've got some combination of Jack Pineda, Jordan Thompson, and I think they're going to add another infield transfer. And then if Gavin Guidry shows up on campus, he's a guy that can play in the infield. I think they're going to work with Gavin Dugas, possibly trying to see if they can learn. He can learn second base. He could play first base as well. They're going to give themselves options for sure, but you got to get used to that idea. The same way I told you over and over again, Jacob Berry was not going to DH. Tommy White is not coming here to DH. So, again, not saying there won't be a game where he DHs, but he's not going to be your everyday DH. All right, it's after further review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
The Florida Gators.
Our running back, DeMarcus Bowman, former 5-star recruit out of high school. He's entered his name into the transfer portal. Bowman came to the Gators back in 2020 after playing his freshman season with the Clemson Tigers, but today he committed to UCF. So because this is his second transfer, he is going to be required to sit out a year before he plays with his new team. Ran the ball just 14 times last year for the Gators. Plenty of depth, though, in that Florida backfield. They should be fine.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Tony Mitchell committed to Nick Saban and Alabama on Sunday night. 6-foot, 190-pound cornerback out of the state of Alabama. He chose the Tide over Auburn, Georgia, and Texas A&M. He's the number 16 overall prospect in the country. Mitchell becomes the 5th ESPN 300 prospect in Bama's class.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Pup Howard is headed to South Carolina. He's out of the state of Florida, taking official visits to both Florida and Georgia this month. Howard becomes the highest ranked commit for South Carolina in this class to date. 247 Sports currently pegs Howard as the 18th best linebacker in the country. He's heading from Florida to South Carolina.
The Missouri Tigers.
Nicholas Deloach has pledged to Eli Drinkwitz. How about this? He's a 3-sport guy in high school, also wrestles and runs track. So because he's played such little football, he doesn't have a star ranking, and his only offers are from Illinois State and Northern Illinois. But he went and camped at Missouri, impressed, and they offered him, and he committed. Played both receiver and defensive back in high school, but he is committed to Missouri as a defensive back. He's the 6th commit for the class of 2023.
The Auburn Tigers.
Speaking of Sonny D, Sonny DeShera has joined Elite Company. He is just the 3rd player in Auburn baseball history to earn consensus All-America honors, joining Frank Thomas and former #1 overall pick Casey Mize as the only players in Auburn history to be consensus All-Americans. DeShera named All-America by D1 Baseball, Baseball America, Perfect Game, and the American Baseball Coaches Association.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy baseball signee Andrew Dekanich announced he will withdraw from the MLB draft and will attend Vanderbilt. To be clear, you can't withdraw from the draft. They can still draft you if they want, but he's basically let teams know, don't draft him. He's not going to sign. He's going to go play at Vanderbilt. He's a top 15 overall player. Perfect Game rates him as the 15th best player in this class. He was a potential first-round draft pick.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Top 5 recruit Robert Dillingham has committed to Kentucky basketball, giving the Wildcats their 2nd top 30 guard in the 2023 class. Dillingham originally committed to NC State last December, but reopened his recruitment in March, chose Kentucky over a Final Four that included Auburn, Louisville, and USC. John Calipari, now brought in 15 5-star point guards since taking over at UK in 2009.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And one more, Garden Layden blocker, the number 28 recruit in the country for 2023. He's announced his commitment to Eric Musselman and Arkansas. Arkansas now had the number 2 recruiting class in the country last year, now putting in work for 2023. 6'2" point guard from Little Rock, staying at home. He's the number 7 point guard in the country for 2023. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get from our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. All right, it's after further review. We will talk to Phil Miller of the Minneapolis Star-Tribune 30 minutes from right now. Get some info on Wes Johnson, the new LSU pitching coach. 15 minutes from right now, start of hour number 2, Demario Davis has extended his contract with the New Orleans Saints. I got some thoughts on that. We'll knock out a quick break and wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. You know where to find them, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. That's where you can find them online. But remember, you can find the Baton Rouge General at their Mid-City location. You can find the Baton Rouge General at their Bluebonnet campus. And, of course, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital as well, with an emergency room, which means emergency care is now closer than ever to Ascension Parish. Learn more at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Of course, when we mention the Mid-City location, because of the grand need amid the global pandemic, the Baton Rouge General Mid-City location reopened their emergency room during COVID, during the pandemic. It's just another way that the Baton Rouge General continues to service the greater Baton Rouge area. Learn more at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org, as they serve and expand healthcare in the Baton Rouge area. brgeneral.org. You can learn more about the Mayo Clinic Care Network as well, which is an exclusivity for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. The official brgeneral.org.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes.
Met a girl, thought she was grand, fell in love.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Alondra, please God, tell me that is the clean version.
It's definitely the clean version. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Did you have a little grunge in your soul?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes.
We're gonna
I'm very grungy.
We're gonna get along really well, though. I mean, you've been hitting a few grunge tracks over there.
A little bit.
Like, what does Alondra know about '90s alt?
A little bit of Audio Slave.
Oh, I mean, see, now you're getting into the 2000s.
That's the 2000s.
That's definitely.
That was Soundgarden in the 90s. Audio Slave now. Well, now, but
definitely not now.
Rest in peace.
So I saw Audio Slave at Voodoo Fest in 2005. Got to meet Scott Weiland.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Stop it.
I did.
No, because Stone Temple Pilots is my favorite.
So there was a time in my life, Alondra, when I was cool. It's not anymore.
What?
But there was a time where I had hair, had a really cool. I guess I still.
That must have been a while ago.
It's been a minute now. Hold on, all right. You can clown Muso if you want, but don't clown on me.
Okay,
all right?
I'm sorry.
Let's not forget. Still the captain of the ship, and I can throw
Yes,
your
sir.
ass overboard. All right.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Not really. Okay. By the way, you remember last week? You maybe don't. That's fine if you don't. But last week we were talking about the players defecting for Live Golf and all. I told you it was kind of like. It reminded me of College Bowl opt-outs, where in 2016, when Fournette and McCaffrey first opted out, they were like pariahs. And the collective college football, how could they disrespect the game? And they're quitting on their teammates and so on and so on. And then more people left, and more and more and more and more. And now you don't hear the loud voices criticizing the opt-outs anymore. We all understand they're doing what's best for them. The bowl system is a sham. It's nothing but a revenue generator for dudes in ugly blazers, and there's nothing on the line for the players unless if you're in the playoff. So the guys that want to play, awesome, but if you opt out, I totally get it. Same thing with Live Golf. 2 more players today defected. 3 players. 2 of them are PGA Tour winners, Matthew Wolff and Carlos Ortiz. They're now defecting. And this isn't headline news anymore. It's footnote. And it's going to continue to be that as more and more and more players leave. And those cries bemoaning the players that are leaving get softer and softer and softer and softer and softer. I don't care. You want to play on the PGA Tour? Fine. But the guys that want to go play for Live Golf and make money, okay, good for them. Make a lot of money. Do what you want to do. It's your life. But if your whole rallying cry is Saudi money and for the love of the game, and that's just not going to hold. And it's not holding anymore. And won't. All right, it's after further review. Demario Davis signed an extension with the Saints. We're talking about it next. AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. You know where to find them. GMFSmortgage.com. So we have seen the Fed tick up interest rates. Just before we left for vacation, they went up another 0.75 of a point. And that's not likely to stop. If you're paying attention to the news, you know rates are going to go higher. So probably not a great time to refi, but it is still a great time to buy. And here's why. If you're thinking of buying that home, buy now before rates go higher, because the values of homes haven't changed. Buy now before rates go even higher. And then if rates do go higher, when they go lower, refinance. GMFS Mortgage can answer all those questions. They can help you with the best options. They're just great people. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage since 1999. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Christine Lisi. No other known NBA team besides the Lakers planning to pursue a sign and trade for Nets guard Kyrie Irving, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Brooklyn's not believed to have any interest in any available packages from LA. Irving's facing a Wednesday deadline to decide on his $36 million player option with the Nets. Kyrie wants a max deal, and it's understandable why Brooklyn may be hesitant to give him one, explains ESPN's Seth Greenberg.
To give him the max, as basically inconsistent in terms of availability he's been, I don't think you can do that, because if you give him all that money in 5 years, who knows? Now he's got you. He's got you, and what's going to happen in year 2, you never know, because the one thing we know about Kyrie is you never know.
Seth Greenberg on Get Up. The Texans, formally named as defendants in the ongoing civil case involving their former quarterback Deshaun Watson, now with the Browns. The suit claims the Texans knew of Watson's alleged sexual misconduct during massages. He has maintained his innocence. Watson's disciplinary hearing with the NFL slated to begin tomorrow. Novak Djokovic among today's first-round winners at Wimbledon.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Gets on it. Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. Muso's on vacation. Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 13 minutes from right now, we're going to go up to the Twin Cities. We'll talk to Phil Miller. He covers the Minnesota Twins. Just how did the deal go down for LSU to land Twins pitching coach Wes Johnson? And what do we know about him? We'll find out from Twins beat writer for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune again in about 12 or 13 minutes from right now. We are in sort of a Saints on-field lull. Like, the Saints are the team. They are left to their own devices between now and training camp. Now that the OTAs have passed, mini camps have passed. Generally speaking, if you see Saints news, probably going to be bad, unless it's this, which is undeniably good news. The Saints and Demario Davis have agreed to a contract extension. It's just a 1-year extension. In some respects, it's kind of a restructuring of his contract that adds another year. It also adds more value to the existing 2 years. So his new deal will allow him to make an additional $18 million over the next 3 seasons by adding a year and beefing up the existing 2 years on his contract. So Demario Davis has undeniably earned it. He has been inarguably one of the best free agent signings in Saints history. Drew Brees will forever be that standard. And I think on the Super Bowl team, Jonathan Vilma was probably that guy. And Demario Davis has surpassed Jonathan Vilma's productivity as a Saint. That is objective fact. Davis has been a more productive linebacker, but Vilma was a middle linebacker on a Super Bowl championship team. But since Davis has been here in 2018, he has been unquestionably phenomenal. He's earned 3 All-Pro designations and was robbed in 2018 of that honor, by the way. But he's been awesome. So this is great news. I think for Demario Davis, there's a couple of questions. And it starts with he's 33 years old. And because Davis, in the early part of his career, was with the Jets, who were irrelevant, and then he went to Cleveland, who were also irrelevant and not very good, he played on very bad teams. And even though he was a 100-tackle guy every year, he just was a relative unknown because he was playing on really bad teams. And he's not a very showy guy. Now, the fleur-de-lis arm sleeve, the sack celebration he has now is phenomenal, and people have gotten to know his name, and justifiably so. But early in his career, it just wasn't the case. He's just not a very vocal guy, not a very loud vocal guy. Social media, public, anything like that. I mean, when we've talked to Demario on the show, you're so blown away by how thoughtful he is for being such a physical man, such a violent man on the field. He's very thoughtful. He's very much into charitable endeavors. I think a lot of you know Demario is a GameCoin athlete. I do a lot with GameCoin. He has his Devoted Dreamers where he commits a lot of time to 7-on-7. They just had a joint thing with GameCoin out in Vegas, helping young athletes learn NIL and crypto and all kinds of stuff. He's a very thoughtful guy beyond just football. So I say all that to say, you wonder how much longer Demario wants to play. And when he was asked that question this offseason, he kind of brushed it aside. But at 3 years old right now, and having been in the league now for a decade, and going into his 11th season, it's really fair to look and say, 3 more years at 36, is he done? Is this the end of it? Now, I was very, very happy to see the extra year added to his contract because, quite honestly, I wasn't sure Demario Davis was going to play another 2 years. Not that I have any insight into it. I don't. But when you have a guy who's non-committal about his future, I think it's natural to just think, okay, he's probably nearing the end. It wouldn't surprise you at any point if he said, okay, I'm done. But the fact that he added another year tells you he's going to play at least 3 more years. And the great thing about that is, number one, great Mike D line. The best ability is availability. Demario Davis has never missed a game due to injury in his career. He missed 1 game last year because of COVID. It's the only game in his career he's ever missed. 1 game last year due to COVID. He has played every game of his professional career. And that is, again, playing a physically demanding position as a middle linebacker. So from 2012 through last year, 10 NFL seasons, guy's never missed a game. He's always been available. And even at 33, he has maintained an elite level of play. His first season in New Orleans, he had 110 combined tackles. That was in 2018. He went from 110 to 111 to 119 during the COVID year. Then last year, 105. Again, he missed a game because he still played in 16 games, but he missed the 1 game because of COVID. But still on par with what he's been. Now, if this season you start to see the productivity drop, then you can have a fair question of, okay, is age catching up? Father Time is undefeated. Another great Mike D line. But you're not seeing that right now. The 13 tackles for loss Demario Davis had last year was the most he's had in a season in New Orleans. So it's not like you're seeing any signs of him slowing. But when will it happen? Will it happen abruptly? How much longer does he want to play? Those are all very, very clear. But I tell you this. At this point in his career, and in particular because Demario Davis has earned All-Pro recognition each of the last 3 seasons, Demario Davis is now playing for legacy. Because at 10 years into his career, and now having made All-Pro 3 times in New Orleans, with 3 more seasons to play under this contract, you are very realistically bumping up into a conversation about Demario Davis's Hall of Fame candidacy. The one thing that he lacks is the ultimate prize, which has been the team's success, which has been a Super Bowl. But even if you look back at the beginning of his career, in 2013, 2014 with the Jets, he was a 100-tackle guy those seasons. His 2, quote-unquote, down years in the Jets, he had 90 and 99 tackles in those seasons, respectively. His best season was when he had 135 tackles in his second go-round with the Jets in 2017. And then he came to the Saints, and his productivity, his statistical numbers haven't matched that year, but he's been an All-Pro in New Orleans. and he's become one of the game's best linebackers. So you're talking about an opportunity for Demario Davis, and maybe that's what's motivating him at this point. Obviously, there's a financial incentive that he's going to play 3 more years. They added $18 million to his contract over and beefed up those 2 years to allow him to make more money over these next 3 years, but also the opportunity to experience what he hasn't been able to yet in his career, which we all thought they would in 2018, which is a Super Bowl. Of course, they were robbed. But I'm thrilled to see Demario Davis back for those reasons, but also because this gives the Saints a buffer to figure out the next era of their defense. You know, you had great leaders on the defensive side like Charles Grant and the late Will Smith, and you brought Malcolm Jenkins back, obviously, and paired with Cam Jordan, he is a future Hall of Famer. But Cam Jordan at this point in his career, Demario Davis at 33 years old, you signed Tyrann Mathieu this offseason, who is new to New Orleans, but still an undeniable leader and great locker room guy. Drew Brees is obviously gone now, but I'm talking just defensively, but your most veteran players, your best leaders, are all nearer the end of their career than the beginning, and certainly near the end in the middle. So Davis kind of, in a sense, giving you a finishing date. That's me opining. He didn't say that. At least it kind of gives you that time to recognize, all right, if you need to get leadership cultivated and in place for the next era post Cam Jordan, post Demario Davis, they're kind of giving you a sense of when that's probably going to be. You probably got another 3 years to figure it out. So Demario Davis will be in New Orleans, and my sincere hope is he just completely balls out these next 3 years, solidifies Hall of Fame candidacy, and helps cultivate the next generation of great Saints leadership on the defensive side of the ball. All right, it's after further review. By the way, one thing, Mickey Loomis. Here was Mickey Loomis, though, this weekend. He was on the Datitude podcast, and he did talk about Demario Davis.
Look, we knew what the potential for him as a player on the field. I don't know that we really understood, how good a leader he could become, and he does a great job in that area. He's a team-first guy, but he's also a player that, listen, he's a bit of a unicorn. There's not a lot of guys that get to that age and continue to play at such a high level, and so it'll be a lot like, Breeze. He'll be able to be here. He'll have an opportunity to be here and play for our team for as long as he wants to and as long as he can. When the GM of the team tells you that, and then also says not only is unicorn because he's playing at this level late in his career, but also we knew what kind of player he could be, but the difference has been the leadership. It tells you that's what they value in him right now, and it's what they'll continue to value. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll go up to the Twin Cities, talk to Phil Miller, who covers the Twins next, find out about LSU's new pitching coach.
AFR.
If you're buying or selling a home, there's one call you got to make. It's to Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. When you call Darren James, the one thing Darren is concerned about, it's not about selling your home. Of course, that's going to happen, but the one thing he concerns himself with primarily for he and his staff is to give you an unbelievable customer service experience, because he knows if he works that way to give you that experience, the results will follow. You will be thrilled, and you can't help but remember him and talk about the experience you've gotten. You don't hear that from realtors every day, do you? I mean, you can call a realtor to put a sign in the yard or list your home on the MLS, or you can call a realtor that's committed to giving you the Ritz-Carlton level of service in real estate. That's Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, LSU has hired Wes Johnson as its new pitching coach, and this has kind of turned the baseball world on its ear because it's just so abnormal to have a sitting major league pitching coach leave an organization midseason to come to the college level. So let's find out what we can from the Twins side of things. Phil Miller joins us, Twins beat writer for the Star Tribune up there in Minneapolis. Phil, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Good, Matt. How are things in Baton Rouge?
Well, things here are actually pretty fantastic. People are excited about this baseball team, in particular because of this news. So let me just start with a reaction. When you learned Wes Johnson was leaving the Twins for LSU, what did you think?
Well, it's one of those things where it's one of those news flashes where you go, that can't be real. No way. It doesn't seem possible. And then when you think about it, it's like, well, you could almost see it coming. Wes Johnson was a college guy. There was this much disbelief, I think, when they hired him because I believe he was the first major league full-time pitching coach to go directly from college to a big league team without any professional experience. He never played professional ball. He never worked for a minor league team or camps or anything, just a college coach. So it seems like he always had that college energy. He's very professorial in his approach to coaching pitchers and finding out how to help them. And the more you think about it, the more, okay, I can, he kind of feels like a college coach. I think the hard to believe part is baseball is full of so many ambitious people, and you just assume that they want to go to the highest level and win there. And I looking at it now, I think that he is making the move that probably excites him even more than a World Series.
Yeah, it's interesting, the timing, which I'll get to in a moment. But one of the things, Phil, that many people speculated on was, okay, well, LSU had to back up the Brinks truck here, relatively speaking. The offer sheet that's been made public from LSU is for $380,000 a year. I don't know do you know what Wes Johnson was making with the Twins?
It would have been less than that, but not much. It would have been in that range. The previous pitching coach I know made something like $275. I'm sure they gave Wes more than that, and he's been here 4 years. So the Twins don't like to disclose coaching figures, but I've been told in the last couple of days that it was over 300.
So
not football coach,
right?
For sure.
Right. So even with this being a raise, it's a relatively small raise. Why wouldn't the Twins, or did the Twins, try to match or offer to keep him?
I'm told that they did not. They made it clear that they were willing to, and I don't think money is the big overriding issue. And I can tell you, I have not talked to Wes. He's not made himself available yet since then, but I can tell you just from covering baseball what one of the big issues might have been, and it's the same issue that everybody has with baseball. It's 162. Mm-hmm. The major league teams play 162 games. They play every day. It is an all-consuming profession in not just coaching, not just playing, covering, broadcasting, being a radio host. It's an everyday occupation that really consumes you for about 8 months at a time, 9 if you make the playoffs, and I think it wears people out. He grew up in Arkansas. He's worked in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Texas before getting hired by the Twins. This seems like a chance to go home. He's got a wife and 3 kids, mostly grown, but you don't see them much during the summer. You're away all the time. I suspect that the college life has always suited him better. Play 60, hopefully 70 games at LSU, and have more of a life to yourself, I think.
Yeah, 60 or 70 games, which is preferred, is for many people, it beats living out of a suitcase 100 nights a year. As a beat writer, I mean, you know the travel and the grind of it very, very well. So let's talk the baseball side of things. Phil Miller's our guest, Twins beat writer for the Star Tribune. How is he as a pitching coach?
He is exactly what this front office was looking for. They've had a series of traditional pitching coaches, former pitchers, guys that will show you their grip that they use for the curveball, things like that. The Twins are quietly one of the most analytically driven teams in the league. Maybe not so quiet anymore, and that's what they wanted in Wes Johnson, and that's what they got. There is so much. It's unbelievable how much information is generated in just a typical bullpen session. How much the spin rate, the angle, you have data on everything. And Wes is a very good coach at discerning, it's sorting it all out, finding what is important, finding how you can succeed, and laying out a plan and then sticking with it. He's also very good at relationships. He gets close to his pitchers, but more than one, the Twins don't spend a lot on pitchers because analytically it's not a good buy. They tend to go a little on the cheap side. So they bring in a lot of guys that aren't exactly the Garrett Coles of the world. And I can't tell you how many pitchers have signed here who have said, I met with them, I wasn't sure about this guy. He laid out, here's what you're doing, here's what you could be doing, here's what the data says. What if you did this? They brought in a guy named Matt Whistler a couple of years ago who had bounced around his entire career. He said Wes told him, why do you throw any pitch but the slider? The slider is what's effective. We're going to do this to it, do that. And he had a great year, and he makes $2.5 million in Tampa now. It's that sort of thing. He summons all the data together, finds out what will work and tries to help you, implement the things that he has found on the Rapsodo and Trautman systems.
Phil, before you go, you did touch on it, but I'm going to ask you to elaborate. College baseball is relational. I mean, you have young people that you're dealing with. Can you elaborate a little bit on what Wes was like there in Minnesota with the players?
The players love him. The players swear by him. I think that this is going to be a little difficult for them. Again, 162 days plus 7 weeks of spring training. You're around. He's your boss, and Rocco Baldelli, the Twins manager, let Wes run his show. A lot like a football coach hands over half of the team to the coordinator. So they were around each other. Chris Archer, who had an all-star career and then had 2 years ruined by injuries, came in. They laid out a plan for him. We're going to limit your usage. He pitched 5 innings, allowing just 1 hit the other day, and afterwards just went on. I don't know if he knew that Wes was leaving. It looks, you wonder now, but he went on and on about how Wes has gotten me to where I am. He's resurrected my career, basically, and I owe so much to him. I think there's going to be a lot of pitchers on the Twin staff that are going to say they felt like the rug has been pulled out from under them, but it's a move that makes sense for Wes, and I would not be surprised if someday he is a college head coach.
I think that is the ambition. He is Phil Miller from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. You can follow him on Twitter at MillerSTrib. Giving us some perspective here from the Twins side of things on today's big news. Phil, we appreciate a couple of minutes. Thanks so much for making time today.
Good talking to you, Matt.
It's our pleasure. Phil Miller, again, from the Star-Tribune. But there's a lot I want to react to. Let me break. I want to come back. I want to react to what Phil had to say, and I also want to talk a little more about Tommy White, Christian Little, who have committed to this team and what it means, where they play, what it means to the roster, the makeover, all that stuff. We're going to continue. Glad to have you aboard with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. I always love sharing great reviews because if you go read the reviews, River City's 1 Hour Air has more than double the amount of 5-star reviews of the next closest competitor. When you've been around for 40 years, that's just what's going to happen. And it's evidenced by the fact that you're around for 40 years. This one came in from Trevor Rowe, who said his technician explained all of the problems with the AC clearly. His name is David. David laid out several different levels of repairs and recommendations, was extremely helpful. I look forward to future business. 752-0001. 752-0001. Do what I did, what thousands of Baton Rouge residents have done for 40 years. You have issues with your home central AC? Look for the big yellow trucks and vans with a giant clock on the side. River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Thanks again to Phil Miller, Minneapolis Star-Tribune, for joining us. Talk a little bit about Wes Johnson. 1 hour from right now, Dylan Tebrake is going to be with us. He's the two-time Big East Pitcher of the Year from Creighton, who is committed to LSU. He'll be with us 1 hour from right now. Looking forward to talking about that. I'll ask him his opinion on his new pitching coach and Wes Johnson. I want to react to some of what Phil Miller had to say, and I do want to talk about the other transfers that LSU got on Friday or on Thursday while we were out, and Tommy White and Christian Little. That's coming up. Let me quickly remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette voted the nation's best aesthetic practice. Out at the National Aesthetic Show in Las Vegas, they were voted the nation's best aesthetic practice. Like, Dr. Todd Howell has won national awards for his HD Vaser lipo procedures. It's just incredible. They're just right here in Baton Rouge and in Lafayette. And, of course, hormone replacement therapy. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. You want to feel like your younger self. So often we don't even realize how bad we feel until we start feeling good again. They can help get you on that path. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. I think with Wes Johnson, one of the things that's going to catch people by surprise is the offer sheet. So that is public. The offer sheet that, of course, because he's now a public employee working for a state university. And the offer sheet for Wes Johnson at LSU is $380K. If you heard Phil Miller, he said the previous pitching coach in Minnesota was making $250. Wes Johnson made more than that, and then being there 4 years probably got bumped up a little bit, but comparable to what LSU is paying him here at $380. With incentives, it could push closer to $400K, postseason, other incentives like that. But the point is, that's not an astronomical amount of money that you just can't turn down. Normally, if you're going to see that surprising of a move, money is what drives it, and it's something that you just don't say no to. Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame for LSU, he wasn't looking to leave Notre Dame, but when LSU came calling with $100 million, who's turning that down? This apparently wasn't that. Now, I do want to point this out. If you go look at, say, Brian Kelly's contract, the portion that the university is responsible for the base pay is minimal. That's just naturally how it goes. And then the fundraising arm, Tiger Athletic Foundation, is normally responsible for the lion's share of these deals. So we will see how it all is structured eventually, but how it's structured is largely irrelevant. My point is, the money may be way more than $380. It may be. Taft may have another $100K, $200K. Who knows what it is? Like, I don't know. I'm spitballing. But my point is, Taft could have more money the way that it's structured that they're feeding to Wes Johnson. That's not public record by virtue of of the LSU athletic administration. So anyway, that happens. There's a lot of employees at LSU that make more than what their base pay suggests that they're being paid through the university or through the athletic department, because they are also paid independently through the Tiger Athletic Foundation extra money. So something just worth keeping in mind. The number could actually be higher than 380. But if you were here in hour one, we talked about it. There's three reasons primarily why he would leave. One is money, obviously, but two is quality of life, and that's something Phil Miller talked about. This weekend we were in New York. They're playing. That went to the Yankees play a couple games, and Yankees were playing the Astros. Well, remember Chandler Rome, who was on the LSU beat for a minute, and of course Calici. But Chandler is the beat writer for the Astros for the Houston Chronicle. So I got to meet up with Chandler on Saturday night, had a few drinks, and we were talking about this. And Chandler's had this incredible success at, he got the beat writer job for the Chronicle covering the Astros at 23 years old. That doesn't happen. He's been there 5 years, so he's 28 now. But you don't get top 5 market jobs to beat writer for a major league team at 23 years old. That's just not something that commonly happens. But you could tell, man. I asked him, I said, man, what's it like? You're living out of a suitcase 100 nights a year. He's like, yeah. I mean, a lot of days it just feels like you're writing about the same baseball game every day, and it's hard. Flights and hotels, and I mean, it's not that you're complaining, right? And and the point is, Wes Johnson wouldn't complain either. But you have to want that life. Baseball is hard. We've talked about this with Terrio so many times. When you're flying 80 times a year, you're staying in a hotel 100 nights a year. It's a grind. So if you don't want that life and you have an opportunity to make more money, if your true career ambition, which as I understand for Wes Johnson, it's to be a college baseball head coach, well, LSU gives you that opportunity. And being the pitching coach for the Twins didn't. And at a place like LSU, where you have a chance to win a national championship, coach the best players, and you just saw the 2 full-time assistants become Power 5 head coaches after 1 year, that's a fast track to do what he wants to do. It makes a lot of sense. And he, as we mentioned, he's going to get to coach the best players. Dylan Tebrake, who's going to be with us next hour, he'll be on LSU staff next year, as will Christian Little, who we learned last week is committed and to LSU, and then Tommy White as well. The biggest questions I guess I have is the biggest challenge for Wes Johnson is going to be to develop a rotation. Jay Johnson said this year, there's going to be a day, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, look, the day is going to come where we know who our Friday night guy is, our Saturday night guy, our Sunday guy, and who our midweek guys. We're going to know that. It's just not this year, meaning they had to cobble together some way to use the pieces they had to eat up 9 innings a night and 27 innings over a weekend. But the day was going to come where they knew who was going to be in what role, and that's going to come in short order because you've added Dylan Tebrake, who's going to be in your rotation. You've added Christian Little, who's going to be in your rotation. And I'm telling you, they're not done recruiting pitchers out of the portal. On top of that, you've got guys who have been in a starting role for you before and may fill a midweek role or may be valuable bullpen pieces for you. Blake Money, Grant Taylor, Sam Dutton. I mean, all of these guys who pitched a lot of innings for you this year, key innings, are going to be valuable pieces behind dudes that are horses in your rotation. And the other thing, and look, I mean, one name that's been mentioned often is Thatcher Hurd, who's a righty from UCLA. He's been linked with LSU. That news hasn't popped, but that's a possibility. And I'm telling you, they're not done scouting players currently playing collegiate summer ball that could end up committing to LSU as well. And then you have this whole signing class that you're still waiting to see who actually shows up and who signs a pro deal. But the other thing, too, is, of course, you landed Tommy White. And Tommy White, who had 27 homers a year ago, is going to be in your lineup every day. He is the power-hitting bat in your lineup via the portal that you expect to come in, provide protection for Dylan Cruz, and to mash homers, just like Jacob Berry did this year, and is going to be a top 10 pick. The thing about Tommy White, though, is he's got 2 years remaining. He just finished his first year at NC State. He's got 2 years of eligibility that he's got to play before he's draft eligible. So Tommy White, in theory, you have for 2 years in Baton Rouge, and he's going to play somewhere in the field. He's not coming here to DH. He's coming here to play in the field and to hit homers. The most interesting part about the next week, today's the 27th, less than a week before that transfer portal window closes, which is July 1. If you're a transfer, you've got to enter the portal by July 1 to be immediately eligible. I believe LSU is going to add another infielder. Josh Day from Missouri is the name that I've mentioned. He is now formally in the portal. He went out to the combine out in California after the season ended, wanted to see what his draft status was. He's now in the portal. Carter Young, shortstop from Vanderbilt, had some struggles this year, but is a really good player. Like, I don't know. I'm not telling you that I know if either of these guys are committed. They're coming. What I know is LSU's not done looking for infielders. You've got Jack Pineda, who could be your shortstop or could play second. Jordan Thompson's going to be back, and he could play second, short, or third. And if you add another key player, then basically you got 3 shortstops on your infield. Your defensive issues from this season are immediately done. You put, say, Pineda at short, Thompson at third, and if Josh Day comes, he plays short. Or you put Pineda at second, Thompson at third, and if you get, I'm just hypothesizing, Josh Day, you put him at short, you got 3 starting shortstops on your infield. You are infinitely better immediately than you were this year defensively on your infield. You're going to get Milazzo back from injury, who's going to be your day one starting catcher. You've still got Dylan Cruz in center field. You'll have Pearson in right. Does Morgan make the move to left? Is it Stevenson? I don't know. But my point is, you can see the way this is piecing together. And if you're getting excited, you should be, because they're putting together what is going to look like the best roster in college baseball next year. Now, can they maximize it? Can they win? Look, Tennessee was the best team this year by a mile. A year ago, Arkansas was the best team in college baseball by a mile. Didn't lose a weekend. Neither team made it to Omaha. So just because you got the best players, it's never a guarantee that you're going to make it to Omaha and win once you get there. I mean, do you need me to mention Ole Miss? They were last 4 in, won the national championship. Weird things happen. It's baseball. But the reason LSU didn't advance this year is because they were missing pieces on the roster. They will not be missing those pieces next year. If they're not in Omaha next year, it's going to be solely because they did not maximize the pieces that they have, and they will have plenty of them. All right. It's after further review. I want to remind you about DraftKings. Gigantic UFC card this weekend. You've been telling you about the NHL Stanley Cup Finals promo that they've had at DraftKings. Well, Finals came to an end last night. Congrats to the Avalanche. Colucci was hooking you up. Y'all made money if you're betting with Colucci. There it is. I'm so sad we have to retire the horn for a few months. Were you excited to play the horn? You look so giddy over there.
I just didn't want to mess up a drop again. You know what I mean?
What did you do last time? I don't remember.
I don't know. Sometimes I just don't click them. Like, you'll say Todd Peterson, and I won't click Todd Peterson because I just don't remember.
Todd Peterson.
You did it twice.
Yeah.
We'll hit it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Todd Peterson.
I mean, every time. It's a 1-for-1 here.
Got it.
But DraftKings is the official sports betting partner of the UFC. This weekend, Saturday, massive UFC card. It's always International Fight Week. The weekend of the 4th of July, it's the biggest fight card of the year. 2 championship fights this weekend. And, of course, DraftKings has an amazing deal for you at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, you got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet on any fighter. Any fight, any fighter. Bet just $5. Regardless of the outcome, they'll give you $100 in free bets. So you want to bet on Adesanya, he'll win and retain his title. But if you want to bet on the main event, do it. Bet just $5. No matter who wins, they'll give you $100 in free bets. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Now, the disclaimer. Do you have the disclaimer? Disclaimer. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. I could read it if I want. I just don't. It's so long. I just hate reading it. It's stupid. I mean, it's not. Yes, it's stupid, but it's also like we legally have to do it. So I want to make sure we stay legal, unlike what Muso does normally every day. Around it's 4:45. What do you think he's doing right now, Alondra?
Right now on the 420 cruise, it's 4:45. He's definitely high right now. 100%.
Like there's no ambiguity there.
No.
Like you're not even mincing words. I mean, there's no.
I mean, everybody knows. Why should I?
That's a great point. I hear no lies. Alondra gets to do Tigers and the Pros next. Muse is on vacation all week. Alondra's here. Do you like, by the way, at the top of the hour when I say Alondra Villarreal? Your mic's not on. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the flair that you add. Nobody else says it that way,
Okay.
so.
Are you of Latina
I'm Mexican.
descent? You're Mexican?
Yes.
Okay, so your family...
Tex-Mex.
Are you from Mexico? Is your family from Mexico?
My family is, yeah.
What generation are you?
First, kind of.
First kind of?
Yeah, my dad was born there, but he's naturalized.
Okay.
My mom's from there.
So you're a first-generation American?
Pretty much.
Not pretty much. Like, that's the thing, for
Yes,
sure.
yeah.
Well, that's kind of awesome.
Thanks.
So when I say Alondra Villarreal...
10 out of 10.
Thank you. You're my favorite. You're hired. Muso, don't even bother coming back. Alondra will have Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Yeah, that was a cute hit the drop. Shoots Electric. Hey, last night, awful weather in Baton Rouge. And the lights flickered. So I got a little, it's weird. I got a little excited, which is kind of dumb, but I did, that for the first time I might get to hear my generator power on. We had Shoots Electric come to our house, install a Generac home standby generator, and I could not recommend them highly enough. One thing that I've learned is there's a lot of companies that will install generators. I didn't know that, but Shoots actually has a generator division. So they're not pulling people from other divisions or using outside labor. They have a generator division in-house. So when the lights go out, if you want your power just to come back on, get a whole home generator installed. Some people may not even realize, almost like TVs, how over the years TVs have actually gotten less expensive. Same with generators. I could not believe how affordable it was, and financing is available. Shoots Electric, CESofLA.com. Check them out online, CESofLA.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2, brought to you by Relief Windows. Dylan Tebrake, LSU pitcher, signee, will be with us in 40 minutes. Right now, Alondra has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, kid, here's your shot. Don't screw it up.
All right. I'm going to try my best. This weekend, we had a few former Tigers facing off against each other. Alex Bregman with the Astros went up against former Tiger.
Yeah.
DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah.
Alex Bregman had an okay game. Last night he went 1 for 3 with 1 hit and 2 walks. LeMahieu had an even better game. He went 2 for 4 with 1 hit, which was an RBI. He also had a home run, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Yankees with the win there, 6-3.
Aaron Judge walk-off. DJ's homer tied the game at 3.
We got another pair of Tigers who played against each other, and not only are they former Tigers, but they are siblings. Austin and Aaronola faced off this weekend.
Do I have to double it up because there's both Austin and Aaron?
Yeah, you have to do it twice. Aaron started on Friday. He pitched 7 innings, gave up 7 hits and 1 run. That 1 run was from his brother Austin.
How about the big bro?
Big bro is big bro and the little bro.
The game winner against little bro.
Yeah. Austin was 1 for 3 on Friday and got the lone and game-winning run. Austin was 4-11 with 3 ribbies on the weekend. And moving on, we got Sylvia Fowles.
Hey. Look at you. All the drops.
She is on her farewell tour with the Lynx. She had 12 points last night with 6 rebounds and 3 assists against the Chicago Sky. And she also became the 4th person in the WNBA to reach 700 blocks. But they did lose 85-88.
All right, big sell.
Yep. Those are your Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You will always get the Lee Michaels experience and a gorgeous, exquisite, beautiful, sparkling diamond. Gentlemen, that is sure to thrill her. You want to be a hero? Let Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry help. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. I did just see actually I need to check this, but I was in the break. Went to the little boys' room, brought my phone, and you not to be super overly descriptive, but like phone one hand, aiming with the other. Does that make sense? Yep, good there. And I was scrolling and I saw Kramer Robertson had put in on his Instagram story, "Let's go Mets," and here it is. So I guess I'm scooping a little here, not scooping, but something that should have been for Tigers in the pros. But I would have given it to you early, but I literally just read it when I was in the bathroom. The Mets have claimed Kramer Robertson off waivers from the Braves. So That's fantastic news. So Kramer, of course, who made his debut with the Cardinals earlier this year, was then picked up by the Braves, let go, and now he's been claimed by the Mets. So good luck to Kramer with his next stop there with the New York Metropolitans. All right, it's After Further Review. We're wrapping up hour number 2. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, Windows Door Siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. When we come back, we kick off hour number 3, the future of the LSU quarterback position. We're talking about it next.
AFR.
Man, I love reminding you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. I love the fact that this year they are celebrating 75 years, and Michelli has taken the opportunity to share so many historical photos from the business over the last 75 years. But mostly I love telling you about Michelli because I love telling you about great companies. And what Michelli does, what they strive to do, is to make your business more efficient. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Let's say you're in agriculture. Well, and if you're measuring crop, of course, you need accurate measurement. So your scales have to be calibrated. Your measurement devices all have to be calibrated properly. That's what they do. Of course, they can come on site if you have equipment that you can't ship or you just don't want to leave. They can help you. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. 29 offices across 11 different states. Learn more at Michelli.com. ISO 17025 accreditation available. Learn more at Michelli.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm
Christine Lisi. As Wednesday's deadline approaches for Kyrie Irving to decide on whether he'll pick up his $36 million player option with the Nets, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting the Lakers are the only team planning a pursuit of a sign-and-trade for the Nets guard. Brooklyn's not believed to have any interest, though, in any available L.A. packages. The Nets are holding firm to one thing when it comes to Kyrie, explains ESPN's Nick Friedel.
They want to know that Kyrie is going to be out there. And after the last few seasons, there were plenty of people in the organization that are thinking, I just don't know if I want to deal with all of this again. And if that runs the risk of potentially losing Kevin Durant, then it may happen. And that's what we're going to find out now moving forward here in the next few days.
According to Woj, Durant has not yet made any potential trade requests. The Texans formally named as defendants today in the ongoing civil case involving their former quarterback, Deshaun Watson. The suit claims the Texans knew of Watson's alleged sexual misconduct during massages. His disciplinary hearing with the NFL scheduled to begin tomorrow. Watson has maintained his innocence.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options. An easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I am sweating.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Good to be back. Thanks again to Leah Van, Chessa Boucher, who filled in on Thursday, Troy LaBeouf, who held it down on Friday. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Had a little birthday trip to New York City. Had an awesome time. Watched the Yankees lose, unfortunately, although many of you mocked me for it. I was not, however, at the no-hitter. I was not there. I was there Friday night. Had great seats. Rained a little. A lot of people ran for cover. I did not. We were 11 rows behind the Yankees dugout, and for what I paid for those seats, my ass was going absolutely nowhere. I was sitting there no matter how heavy that rain got, and it wasn't that bad. I've sat out in much heavier rain in Louisiana before. I think we could all relate. But I had a great trip. Appreciate those who took care of business while we were gone. Bottom of this hour, Dylan Tebrake's going to join us. LSU transfer commit from Creighton, two-time Big East Pitcher of the Year. He's here in 30 minutes from right now. While I was out, there was some significant recruiting news that affects LSU, obviously. One bit of news came on Thursday, literally as I was boarding the plane to New York. Arch Manning put out his very first ever tweet from his verified Twitter account, committing to the University of Texas. His tweet just simply said, committed to the University of Texas. There's a picture of him throwing a football wearing a Texas shirt. In some ways, Arch Manning's recruitment has actually been kind of refreshing. It's a little bit of a throwback. There aren't and never were lists of 20 schools and then narrowed down to 10 and then his top 8, then his top 5 and committing and decommitting. It was just, guy stayed quiet. He doesn't really put much out on social media, doesn't share much. He's just trying to be an 18-year-old kid. Good for him. I get it. It's a high-profile family. If you're an LSU fan, we've talked about it forever. Realistically, you should have known Arch Manning was never coming to LSU. I don't understand the LSU fans who don't understand why the Mannings have no tie to LSU. Archie's from Mississippi. He went to Ole Miss. He got drafted by the Saints. He raised his family in Louisiana. That's phenomenal. They have no tie whatsoever to LSU. Like, if I were talented enough to be a great athlete and I was drafted by the Falcons, God forbid, and I had athletic kids, should they go to Georgia? Hell no. It doesn't make any sense at all. I actually respect the fact that they've let their kids and grandkids make their decisions, go wherever they want. Go to Ole Miss, go to Tennessee, go to Texas. Do you in life. And I'm okay with that. And the best news for LSU with the Arch Manning story is you don't ever have to see him. If he had gone to Bama and got to play him every year, that sucks. If he'd gone to Georgia and been in the SEC, that sucks. If he'd gone to A&M, that sucks. He's going to Texas. Now, currently, Texas is slated to be in the SEC in 2025, which would be Arch's junior season, or his third year. So technically, you could see him in 2025, or maybe they're not on the schedule and you never see him. But it's a best-case scenario with him going where he's going. Seriously, I don't understand the hurt feelings from a lot of grown people about where this 18-year-old is going to go play college football. God bless him. Good luck, man. There's tons of great players and great athletes, and LSU's going to always sign really good ones. And that's okay. I knew, and I think many of y'all, if you're being honest with yourself, should have known that Arch Manning was never going to LSU. So the Tigers have kind of been in the mix, for other players, and some very high-profile players. And among them is Jaden Rashada. And Jaden Rashada, over the weekend, committed to the University of Miami. He was down to Miami and Florida, seemingly, and he picked Miami. But the story was only just beginning with his commitment. Because what's happened since is On3 has reported that Jaden Rashada got himself one heck of an NIL opportunity. Michael Caspino, he's with Forward Counsel out of Newport Beach. He has brokered a lot of high-profile NIL deals. He went on the record and said, quote, Jaden left millions on the table in picking Miami over Florida. Multiple sources from the On3 report. Multiple sources told On3 Rashada agreed to an NIL deal with Miami mega booster John Ruiz for $9.5 million. The same source said Rashada turned down an offer from Florida's Gator Collective for $11 million. Both offers blew out of the water. The Caspino brokered $8 million deal for five-star recruit thought to be Tennessee quarterback commit Nico Amalevia. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. So, that On3 Sports reports Jaden Rashada got $9.5 million by John Ruiz to go to Miami, and that he left $1.5 million on the table. Well, John Ruiz took to Twitter and said the report by On3 is inaccurate as it relates to Jaden Rashada. I have never spoken to Mr. Caspino about Jaden Rashada. Mr. Caspino and I spoke about an unrelated player months ago and had a very professional and pleasant conversation. I respect him. Okay, so John Ruiz denies the report by On3 about the $9.5 million, although he does not specifically say that. The Gator Collective also released a statement, and they said the recent comments by California lawyer Michael Caspino have been brought to our attention. Gator Collective has never had any communications with Michael Caspino about Jaden Rashada or any recruits. Rather, Gator Collective has refused to engage in any dialogue with Mr. Caspino on numerous occasions, as Gator Collective does not approve of his tactics and has no interest in engaging in any activities which violate Florida law and NCAA interim policy and may put athletes' eligibility at risk. So, a couple things. Rashada picks Miami. Report comes out that Rashada got $9.5 million by a booster who is a billionaire who has been very brazen in his approach to NIL. But what happened 2 weeks ago? The NCAA announced that they were investigating egregious NIL accusations, including Miami. Remember, John Ruiz spoke on the record, announced on the record that he spoke to NCAA investigators. So if you're John Ruiz today, you're not quite as brazen. Even though you're a billionaire, you're not quite as brash and brazen because you know the NCAA is snooping around. If you're Gator Collective, are you really going to go on the record about what you're offering for a recruit through your collective's funds with a lawyer brokering these deals? Sometimes with situations like this, you have to ask yourself who has what to gain and what to lose. The only person involved in these conversations who can be completely transparent because he is in no way beholden to the NCAA and is not breaking any laws is the attorney Caspino. He's the one brokering these deals. And the NCAA can't shut him down. They can't touch him at all. So sure, he'll go talk on the record. Because every time he does, every single recruit in the country knows that's the guy that gets 7-figure deals. That's the guy, when he calls, I need to take his call. So, yeah. Do I believe Jaden Rashada did an NIL deal with Miami? Of course. Was it $9.5 million? I don't know. That sounds ridiculous. Maybe it is. Maybe not. I don't know. We got billions of dollars. $9 million doesn't sound like that much. But I don't know. What I do know is this. Arch Manning is committed to Texas. Jaden Rashada is committed to Miami. Eli Holstein's committed to Texas A&M. The number of quarterbacks that LSU, for which LSU's in the mix, is dwindling. Dante Moore is the remaining high-profile quarterback out there. And LSU is in the mix for Dante Moore, who's a 5-star. And maybe they'll get him. But I want to reiterate something which I said last week, and I'll continue to say. Because of the transfer portal, signing a quarterback in every class is no longer necessary. It used to be. It's not anymore. Because if you miss in a cycle, you can still always supplement. LSU added a quarterback who's not guaranteed to start, by the way, who has started 30 career games in the Power 5. There's always going to be an option at LSU to add a transfer quarterback. So maybe you take a shot on an 18-year-old who becomes Bryce Young. Or maybe you get Joe Burrow. Both ways can work now. For what it's worth, Jaden Rashada has also commented, now this is within the last hour, on Twitter. He posted a letter. Any report regarding my commitment to the University of Miami is false unless I was interviewed directly. All reports of my decision involving an NIL deal is inaccurate. I would never make a life or career choice for any monetary value. As I stated in my commitment live on TV, I chose Miami because of the relationship I have with coaches, players, and the direction of the program is headed. I wish not to address the false reports again, as this is a time I wish to celebrate my college commitment and my commitment to my current team and teammates as we look forward to our dream of winning a state championship. At this time, I request no interviews. With all love, Jaden Rashada. I wish I could say I believe the kid. It's just impractical to think that money and NIL is not factoring in at all. Okay, it's after further review. Quick break. Bottom of this hour, Dylan Tebrake, LSU transfer pitcher. He'll be with us in 15 minutes when we come back. Mickey Loomis talked about Alvin Kamara's uncertain future. We'll let you hear what the Saints GM said next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. But, man, it is Monday, so you better be dining in. Tonight and every Monday. Y'all, tonight and every Monday, all you can eat wings. What? Yep. Pay one low price. Eat as many wings as you want. Now, 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Find your favorite flavor tonight. Try them all. at Pluckers. And you got a full slate of Major League Baseball games. What else could you possibly want to do but go to Pluckers, eat wings, drink beer, and watch sports on TV? Every night a week, they got something going on at Pluckers. Remember, Tuesday, sports trivia. Wednesday is general trivia. Tuesdays also, kids eat free. So kids are driving you nuts here during the summer. It's a great opportunity to get out of the house and do something as a family because you should spend time together as a family, and you can do it at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine in, carry out, or delivery via Uber Eats and DoorDash. It's Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Armstrong.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
This is something that will probably delight Saints fans. Adam Trautman is participating in Travis Kelce's Tight End University Summit. Look, we all expected a lot out of Trautman a year ago. He was drafted in the third round. Really good pass-catching tight end out of Dayton. You all know the story. Late in his rookie season, he was taking more and more snaps. It was very clear they were not bringing Jared Cook back. Of course, they didn't bring Jared Cook back, and Trautman didn't have a great sophomore season. 27 catches for 263 yards. His blocking statistics actually regressed a little bit, and it's left the Saints looking for options, and that's why you've seen, of course, Nick Van Nett is there. They've moved Taysom Hill to tight end, although I'm using the air quotes. I don't believe he's actually going to play traditional tight end. I think Taysom Hill is just playing the slash position that he's been playing, that Swiss Army knife position. But you've got undrafted rookie Lucas Kroll out of Pitt, who I think has a really good chance of making the team. Some veteran backups like J.P. Holtz and Brandon Dillon. We'll see. But, they the answer is Trautman. The answer is Trautman. Trautman getting better. And this feels like a pivotal year. I mean, rookie deals outside of the first round are 4 years. This is his third season. If you want to get a second contract with New Orleans, this is where you make your move. If you're Adam Trautman, it's year 3, it's time. And this is a pretty good indicator. So Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Greg Olsen, former Panthers tight end, part of this as well. Great opportunity to go learn from some of the best tight ends in the league and see if he can take that next step. So it's a pretty good indicator that he's thinking along those lines and potentially heading that way. All right, Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, ReliefWindows.com. While the Saints are kind of going through the rest of this offseason preparing for training camp, there's one thing that is a great unknown, and it's the unknown has got to be unsettling, and that's what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara. So every time anyone with the Saints organization speaks about this, we're obviously going to talk about it. And Mickey Loomis was a guest on the Datitude podcast, and they talked about a lot of stuff, and he did, in fact, talk about Kamara as well. A couple of bites. First, their sort of approach right now with the Kamara situation.
I think for me, what I always try to do is, what's the worst case scenario and what's the best case scenario, and then we really just have to wait and see what happens. And yet we have to be prepared for anything. And I think that's really the way we approach, anything and everything is be prepared for anything that can happen. And look, I don't know enough, but I don't have enough of the details to be able to project what could or couldn't happen. I know that there's a hearing later this summer, and so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
So Loomis said there, his approach is always to prepare for the best case and the worst case. There's a hearing. They're going to wait and see what happens. But he doesn't know. The other party, they'd follow him. This was a good question, was about the legal process. Because, remember, Alvin Kamara's got his attorneys, but are the Saints involved in that part of it at all?
I think the process in Las Vegas has to work itself out before the league, does their process. So, there's generally 2 steps. The first is the legal matter, and then the second is obviously, the league. And so we're not really involved in either one of those.
So as the timeline plays out, you're going to see what happens in Las Vegas first, and then the NFL will react. If the Las Vegas hearing keeps getting bumped back further and further, you wonder when league discipline might come down. It is worth mentioning that league discipline can come down even if Kamara is cleared of any wrongdoing. By the nature of the way the rule is written under the personal conduct policy, it's not necessarily tied to the legal result. So, look at, for example, there's no commentary here, but the Deshaun Watson situation. The league is preparing to suggest penalties against Deshaun Watson, even though there were no criminal charges brought against him. A grand jury twice, 2 different grand juries failed to indict him. So, again, this is not a commentary on the case or the evidence or whatever you may think of it. The point being, the league can still punish even if there's no criminal charges. So it certainly feels as though Alvin Kamara is going to be punished, and he'll very likely face a 6-game suspension. The other part of what Loomis said there about the best case, worst case, that's the interesting part for me. He says, I always prepare for a best case and a worst case. Well, what do both a best case and a worst case look like? Well, the best case is Alvin Kamara is cleared, the charges are dropped, there's no punishment, he's healthy, plays a full season, is awesome, and Mark Ingram drinks from the fountain of youth, and you hit a total grand slam with undrafted rookie free agent Abram Smith, and you have this 3-headed monster that stays healthy and productive, and you have the best running game in the league. Like, that's a best case, right? I also think that's unrealistic. And then what's the worst case? Well, the worst case is Kamara gets 6 games or more. Ingram is done. and Abram Smith has 2 left feet. I mean, that's a worst case. And so then you're sitting there with no real options this season at running back. As is the case with so many things, the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. I think Kamara is going to get 6 games. We've talked about that enough. But the real answer is, how productive is Kamara in the, let's say, 11 games that he's available? And when he's not, can you get enough productivity out of Abram Smith and Mark Ingram? Because it looks like that's the tandem that they're going to have to use because of their inability to successfully court a free agent in this offseason. It's going to be a gigantic question. But, you know, we saw Deontay Harris last year serve his DUI suspension late in the season. Maybe the same thing happens for Alvin Kamara. Maybe you get a really productive Alvin Kamara for 10 weeks, and you get a chance to cultivate some of that young talent, and then Kamara sits for a month thereabouts and comes back really healthy for a playoff run. I mean, that's plausible as well. But clearly what Loomis said is he always prepares for best case, worst case. He'll have scenarios, and he'll have options available. My big concern for the Saints is Kamara suspended, Ingram's no good anymore, Abram Smith doesn't pan out, and you're left really without options. Now, there's nothing I or you or we could do about it today, but if there's something that you would look at and say, okay, that could derail the offense, it's if that scenario unfolded. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Honest to goodness, true story. Walking up 7th Avenue in New York City on Saturday morning. And a guy says, I'm wearing my HUDCO hat. Guy says, hey, HUDCO, Louisiana, Ryan Terrio. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Swear to God. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Strike me dead. Turns out we had mutual friends. But HUDCO Roofing, the HUDCO hat, I guess the HUDCO hat, it speaks for itself now. But we had terrible weather in Louisiana last night in the Baton Rouge area. I know parts west of here, Lake Charles had heavy hail last night. If you had hail, if you think you might have hail damage, give us a shout. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. 20 years of exceptional craftsmanship all over the state of Louisiana. HUDCORoofing.com. I tell you every day to do business with someone you know. Ignore the door knockers. Ignore the out-of-towners. Ignore the upstart roof company that you've never even heard of before. Do business with someone you know. Give us a shot at HUDCO Roofing. HUDCORoofing.com. Roof repairs, roof replacements, commercial, residential, even new construction. We'd love to help you out at HUDCO Roofing. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. LSU transfer Dylan Tebrake from Creighton. He'll join us next on AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along through the 5 o'clock hour. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Earlier this month, LSU got phenomenal news. Dylan Tebrake, two-time Big East Pitcher of the Year from Creighton, committed to play at LSU, and Dylan's going to have to join us for a couple of minutes here. Dylan, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
Of course. I'm doing well, very well.
How's the response been to you from the LSU community since you went public with your pledge?
Oh, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. I know Coach Johnson told me that fans are crazy down there, but I'm definitely seeing how committed they are. And I come from a small school, so not used to this kind of fan base.
Well, LSU knows Omaha well, so they're very familiar with Creighton. So I want to talk a little bit about this, but let's go back and kind of talk about your decision, because I guess it's somewhat odd for maybe people here to think, man, he's two-time conference pitcher of the year. Why would he transfer out of Creighton? So I'm sure you've gotten that question before, but why? Why leave Creighton at this point in your career?
So I graduated, and I was honestly just looking for something different. I felt as if I couldn't have really done more at Creighton, and if the draft doesn't work out, that I wanted to see what I'm capable of in like a Power 5, SEC, Big 12, something like that.
So let me follow up there. Was the draft, or is the draft, still a possibility for you?
Yes, I do plan on signing. If I get the money I feel that I'm worth. Otherwise, I will be going back to school, obviously, in Baton Rouge.
How much, Dylan, it's so interesting because, I know every guy, when you go through the process, if it's high school at this point, like, you have a number and it's something you want, but how much weighs on you or tugs you emotionally? Like, every kid's got the dream of playing professionally, right? But then you also have this amazing opportunity at LSU. So Where are you emotionally with that decision right now?
Yeah, for sure. So when I committed first, I think the draft is going to work out, and I plan on signing. But as the summer has gone on and they've added these transfers and now Wes Johnson, I feel as if like we'd have a legitimate shot to win a national championship. So that's definitely going to make this decision hard here in 3 weeks. But
I want to ask you about Wes Johnson then. That's a pretty good transition. Have you had any interaction with Wes Johnson before in your career?
I never have, no, but I'm originally from a small town in central Minnesota, so I'm a big-time Twins fan. So I was pretty ecstatic to see that he was the coach that
All right, hold
was
on.
hired.
What small town in Minnesota?
Cold Spring, about 15 miles northwest of St. Cloud, right in the middle of the state.
Dude, that's so weird. I worked a summer in Mankato, and so I went through actually even small. I mean, you know all the little small like farming towns. Like probably a lot of them I could name that you've never even heard of, but that's southern Minnesota. So it's so weird that I probably went through that town. I went through basically every town south of the Twin Cities. So chances are I've been to your town there in Minnesota. But all right, so you're a Twins fan. Wes Johnson has this sterling reputation. Have you had any contact with him since he was hired?
I have not ever personally talked to him. I just know that he's done a great job with the Twins pitchers, just from following the Twins.
Was Jason Kelly at all part of your recruitment to LSU?
Yes, he was.
What was your impression of Coach Kelly?
Oh, he seemed like a great coach, great person. I never actually got to meet him in person, but I liked his philosophies on pitching and all of that. So I'm pretty excited to see that he got Power 5 head job. I think it says a lot about LSU's program, especially with Coach Fitzgerald getting another Power 5 job too.
Dylan Tebrake is our guest. He's on Twitter. Follow him at Dylan Tebrake, Tebrake. By the way, when you first committed, I was calling you Tebrake. I was looking for a phonetic pronunciation of your name. Couldn't find it. Finally found some YouTube video where you said your name. How often do people mispronounce your name?
All the time.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
It's something I've just grown used to.
So my last name is Moscona. There's a bajillion vowels in it. Nobody ever says it right, so I can actually empathize with you, which is why I try to pronounce names correctly. Have you been to LSU's campus yet?
I have not, no.
Man, it's so wild, but it just kind of speaks to the nature of how the transfer portal and the recruiting cycle goes. What made you comfortable committing to LSU, considering you've never been here?
I felt like I had heard from every school that I wanted to hear from, and then kind of just narrowed it down from there. And I liked what Coach Johnson had to say, and he said that they need pitching help, and I just felt like it was a good fit overall.
How many schools contacted you throughout the process?
Oh, man, I was in the portal for a total of 2 days and heard from 50-plus schools.
Wait, did you say 15 or 50?
50.
50. Oh, so basically everybody sees that the two-time Big East pitcher of the year goes into the portal. Everybody's calling and shooting their shot. So what was it about LSU then? What stood out that in those 2 days you were comfortable saying, yep, that's my spot?
I just felt comfortable. I feel like I would fit in well there with Coach Kelly. And then when he left, I had a little bit of uncertainty as to if the new guy would be a good fit for me. But now seeing that it's Wes Johnson, I don't plan on flipping my commitment at all. Feel super comfortable going down there. And then Coach Johnson had been following my year and saying that he needed help with pitching and stuff. So as soon as I hopped in the portal, he was one of the first calls I got, and I just felt like that relationship grew over the couple days, and I just felt comfortable committing.
Couple more minutes, and your time very much appreciated. Let's talk ball. We're rolling some highlights of you pitching there at Creighton. If I asked you to describe yourself stylistically as a pitcher, what would you say?
Early in my career, I thrived on, just throwing strikes and trusting my defense, and early this year as well. But as the year went on, I kind of turned into a two-pitch power pitcher, being looked at as a reliever more so by pro teams. But I would be comfortable starting another year if that's what's on the slate.
Do you see yourself? You'd see yourself as a starter at LSU if you show up here?
Correct. Yes, I would like to.
Man, it's funny to say you're a pitch to contact guy because we're watching a lot of your highlights and the power stuff absolutely holds. So do you model yourself after anybody? Like, do you think that stylistically your stuff has a comp for a big leaguer or someone we would know?
Not really, no.
Okay. And you've never talked about that with like a scout's never told you anything like that?
Not really, no, just because I've been two different pitchers over the course of the last 2 years.
Yep.
Like I've had a lot of success both years, but this year it was just the strikeout numbers were a lot higher, which is intriguing to a lot of teams.
Yeah, man. A lot of fans down here as well, which has people excited about the possibility you've pitching for the purple and gold. Well, man, we all very selfishly hope that you end up in Baton Rouge and help this team win a national title next year. But either way, wish you the absolute best of luck. And can't thank you enough for taking a few minutes to spend this time with us today, man. Best of luck in the draft, and hopefully we see you in Baton Rouge.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's our pleasure. That's Dylan Tebrake. He's on Twitter at Dylan Tebrake. You'll give him a follow, DYLANTEBRAKE. So that's interesting, and that probably gives you a little bit of pause, right, if you're an LSU fan, because he's not pot committed on coming to LSU. He says he plans on signing if he gets his number. So LSU is not his primary. It is his fallback. So he will – remember, the draft is – it's not like in football or in basketball where you have to declare and then you're into the draft. And then once it's set, and you can't come back. In baseball, like, anybody can be picked, even if you're not, quote-unquote, in the draft. I mean, we see great athletes. Kyler Murray gets picked. Tom Brady got picked in the baseball draft. I mean, anybody can get picked. So he has his number in mind. I'm going to tell you, if you're an LSU fan, you're kind of holding your breath and hoping. The thing that could be to LSU's benefit, and I don't know what his number is, and he wouldn't share it, obviously, but if scouts at the next level see him as a reliever, it is unlikely, relievers, I mean, unless you're the kid from Tennessee, you're Ben Joyce throwing 105, relievers aren't going to be as sought after as starters. So, don't know what his number is, but man, you'd got to think there's a really good chance that he would end up here, depending on what that number is. And you heard him say, look, with Coach Johnson and some of the transfers we got, there's a good chance he'll win the national championship. And that's a great experience for anybody. So, again, you'll have to – that's as much as we've been talking about the signing class, kind of holding your breath on which of those guys may actually show up on campus, it's you got to throw Dylan Tebrake in that mix as well now to see if he actually will show up here or if he'll sign a pro contract, depending on where he's taken. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. Check out the inventory online at southpointvw.com or go test drive. And listen, maybe there's a vehicle you're looking for and they don't have it on the lot. The great news is, because South Point Volkswagen is the largest volume Volkswagen dealer in the state, because they move so much inventory, they've got so many resources and relationships to get the vehicle you want. So if there's a certain vehicle you want, a certain model with certain specifications, they'll be able to search high and low all over the country with a lot of their relationships to get that vehicle here for you. So check them out at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com, or go test drive one today. Airline just north of Highland. That's South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all, we got one segment left to go. The Otter will be here. No more Colucci. Look, 6 games in the NHL Finals. Colucci nailed the Avs. Wrong one. No. Yeah. You can hit it if you want. It's all right. Alondra's in for Muso. So, learning where the buttons are. That's okay. So, Colucci gave you the series pick of Avs, and in the 6 games, he was 5-1 in the 6 games. You made money if you were betting with Colucci, but the finals are over now. So we got Otter full bore on Major League Baseball. Let's see what picks he's got for us tonight. Otter locks to wrap up the show next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's. Hey, for Father's Day a couple of Sundays ago, we had the whole family over. And I was not about to cook or grill or anything like that. So we went to Rouse's. We picked up a ton of barbecue, ribs, brisket, pulled pork, made sandwiches, and it was phenomenal. Rouse's is great if you're having a giant gathering. Let them do the cooking. If it's barbecue, if it's the seafood, if it's the bakery, if you need a cake or whatever types of desserts. Maybe you want finger foods. They got charcuterie and sampler and platters and sandwich trays. They've got it all at Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics, and now the official supermarket of your New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Remember, they've got curbside pickup and delivery options. Let them go do the shopping for you. Pull up, they'll bring it out to your car, or if you can't get to Rouse's, they'll deliver it to you. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows, Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. I'm having trouble getting a hold of Otter. Alondra's going to call him again to see if we get him. I got to get some picks for tonight. I'm actually kind of fiending a little bit now after we've had a really nice run of success. I opportunity to remind you of a couple things while we call Otter back. Number one, you can always catch AFR on demand. Remember, the show has its own feed now, so iTunes, Spotify, search After Further Review, subscribe. You can get our podcast on demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. And remember, LSU Daily, if you're not subscribed yet, daily podcast, 20 minutes or so of LSU news, all part of Drop Biscuit Studios, the new venture from Guarantee Media. Learn more at dropbiscuitstudios.com. And subscribe to LSU Daily, however you get your podcast. Okay, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village. Serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, James Ott. Otter, how are you?
Take me to the city that never sleeps.
Yes! And where the Yankees for a game and a half don't get a hit.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Hey, yep. The Windy American League, Yankees plus $2, Astros plus $2.80, and it's a drop off after that. And maybe a little taste, man. If somebody can compete with the Yankees, because the 2 games the Yankees won, man, they pulled out the hat. No doubt about that.
Yes, they did. The one game that I was at was the Friday night game that the Yankees lost 3-1. But I'll tell you, it was cool.
Verlander plus money.
Verlander, Severino, 2 pitchers who were awesome. Verlander's a Hall of Famer. Got to see Bregman and LeMahieu, 2 guys I covered at LSU, both playing on the same field.
LeMahieu gets a big 2-run homer to tie it, send it to the extras yesterday.
Yeah, LeMahieu was both got hits at the game that I was at on Friday. Bregman doubled. It was. Look, the stadium's phenomenal. The whole experience was great. The game stunk, but it was 1 out of 162. So whatever. It's how. I don't hate the funny thing, Otter, is I don't hate the Astros. I mean, especially with Bregman there. I mean, a pull for him, but
right.
But boy, Yankee fans, I did not realize how
the venom
deep that still is, and it is all directed at Altuve. I mean, it is insane. But anyway, all right, what do we got tonight, man?
All right, Angels and the White Sox. Lucas Giolito, man. I mean, 5 starts ago he had 2.63 ERA, and he's just rolling, man. But they are barreling up on everything. Last 5 starts, 25 2/3 innings pitched, 30 earned runs. That ain't good. Okay, so the last 5, it's boosted his ERA all the way up to 5.4. Syndergaard is a little bit hit-miss. Reports on decreasing his velo and his spin rate. That's fine, but he's at least been more productive than not when he goes out there. Maybe a little shake-up, a little wake-up call. That was as good of a baseball fight as we've had in the first while. We got to throw out that bullpen, though, are the Angels. First 5 Angels, minus $1.37.
All right, Angels first 5. Is that all right, so that's just money line, right? There's no run line involved there?
No, money line.
Right, okay. All right, Angels first 5, okay.
All right, Minnesota-Cleveland. This is a rematch of the series just a week ago. This is a rematch of the same pitching matchup of 5 days ago, where both of these pitchers played great. For Minnesota and McKenzie for Cleveland got hit pretty good. So McKenzie, they got him for 6 earned runs, a non-hits, 4 1/3, and against Gray, less than that, 3 earned runs and 8 hits, 4 innings pitched. But it's Gray has been a little bit better over the course. He's a better pitcher. McKenzie was really good for a while, but he is starting to dip a little bit as well. His barrel rate is up as well, not pitching as good of luck. Minnesota in this one, minus $1.27. Also, a little bit of revenge spot here because it was Cleveland that won those 2 games in the last inning, those miraculous stuff, right? They were down 2 runs in the 9th, and 1 game came back to win extra innings, and then they were down 3 runs in the 9th, the next inning and won. The next game and won.
Mm-hmm.
So Minnesota, first place, yes, we could go scoop and score, and a pitching coach double his money. Come on, we just pay more. I
don't know if they did. I don't think they did, Otter. I mean, he was making, what I heard was mid-3s, and LSU's paying him $380.
Oh, I heard more than $380.
There's the offer sheet is public. The signed offer sheet has been made public. It's $380 with incentives that could push him close to $4.
Okay. All right. I think he might have some incentives in there as well.
No, that's what I'm saying. The incentives are spelled out. It can push him closer to 4. And I mean, unless if Taft is just kicking him something under the table, which they may, but I guess I don't know, we have to be under the table.
All right,
but anyway.
Two totals. Over. Gosman in Seabold. Seabold, his first outing of the season. Toronto was capable of putting up a bunch of runs. Boston's hitters, their lineup is red hot. They've won 19 of their last 23. And Gosman is just coming back to earth a little bit. 14 earned runs this last 5 starts of 23 innings pitched. Yes, I almost had to switch neighborhoods, but he's still my neighbor. But we're going over in that one. And also over in St. Louis, Miami, Lopez is another starter who's fading a little bit as well. That's a low number at the 7.5. So over St. Louis, Miami, over Toronto, Boston, and Angels and Minnesota.
All right, Otter, we got 5 seconds. I got to go. Thank you. Have a great show.
See you, buddy.
Otter is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
AFR.
Getting on down the road, we remind you about Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com to find the location nearest you. Remember, newest location in the LP. That's right. Denham Springs, you've got your own Shawbills now, so check them out right there. You know where they are on LA 16. ShawbillsTire.com to find the location nearest you, and also to find the great promotions that I tell you about all the time. At Shawbills, they're going to sell you the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. So go to ShawbillsTire.com, hit the promotions tab right at the top, and you'll see everything that you need to know about all the current tire offers that are there. The manufacturer's offers, their in-house offers like Shawbill's credit card. Tell you about it all the time. Use the Shawbill's credit card. First purchase, $50 off no matter what it is. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. That's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Armstrong.